But there were a lot of rock elements on those Run DMC records, even the ones before Walk This Way, because everyone thinks it started. I was like, no, didn't you hear Rock Box?
He said, not sure why this popped in my head, but I feel the Beastie Boys went from rap and then wanted to go to hip hop in their career timeline.
I don't know.
What do you
if
guys
I'd
think
agree
about
with
that?
No, because they went from punk to hip hop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think they really left, because when you listen to their very first album that, on Def Jam, that was in line with everything that was on Def Jam and happening in hip hop at the time.
License to Ill.
License to Ill, because Rick Rubin was involved. The same thing sounds like, the Run DMC and the LL records.
Very grassroots.
Like, yeah.
It sounds like the stuff he still does to this day.
Yeah. So, and then a lot of people, after they left Def Jam and went to Capitol, put out Paul's Boutique. Like that album was so dope that people thought it was whack at the time. Like they went from selling 10 million records to barely being able to sell 500,000. It was a crazy drop off as far as the commercial success, but artistically, I thought it was good. I wasn't a big fan of Check Your Head, but once it got around to Ill Communication, I was all on board with the Beasties. I don't think once they got on as far as hip hop, I don't think they ever left. It's just like you can look at the commercial success and say, oh, they went into the quote unquote rap side. Like if they could have made License to Ill 2 and probably sold another 5 or 6 million albums. Yeah. But they just didn't do that.
Yeah, it was, in my personal opinion, I'm with you. It was on par with everything else that was coming out then on Def Jam. I actually think, if anything, if Beastie Boys had started their last run maybe 5 years later, or maybe even just a few, they would have been considered pop at the time, because if you notice, they started gaining a lot of ground, like when they were doing the Intergalactic and all that stuff.
That's how I got hip to them.
It was more, they were crossing over more to the popular side of the rap game versus being hip hop, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think there is a discounting of the Beastie Boys' contribution to hip hop, unfortunately, because of the way, like, they were almost marketed as alternative. Just because there were some guitar riffs in their music. And I was like, well, there have been guitar riffs in their music this entire time. And just because they saw, the Sabotage songs is pretty much a rock song. But it's like
their first songs were too, even like their videos were like frat house videos at the end of the day.
And it was just crazy. I think that, like I said, I think we discount the Beastie Boys' contribution to hip hop because a lot of times we didn't hear them on the hip hop station, but they would be played on the alternative station, even though even the songs that were just straight hip hop would get played on. I mean, it was the same thing. I remember when Eminem's "My Name Is" came out and 105.7 The Point in St. Louis, they would play that record. And I was like, this isn't even close to being an alternative song. But just because you saw the white face on the cover, you're like, this is alternative. We can put it in here. And I think, I don't think they discount Eminem because of that, but I do think they do that to the Beastie Boys, which I think is unfair because there's no Beastie Boys album where I'm like, no, that was just okay. Like I take that back, except for Check Your Head. I don't know why, I just don't like that record. But all the other Beastie Boys albums I enjoy thoroughly, and they are definitely hip hop.
Probably more hip hop than their first album was. Because the first album was, other than like, well, no, I can't say that. There was some hip hop, a lot of hip hop elements on there, but there were a lot of rock elements on there too.
But there were a lot of rock elements on those Run DMC records, even the ones before Walk This Way, because everyone thinks it started. I was like, no, didn't you hear Rock Box? Didn't you? I just think that sometimes we lose things in the conversations because of how the corporate structure, or the capitalist structure, if you will, categorizes music despite what it is artistically.
True that.
Well, shout out for the
yes
for the comment.
Comment though, that's
you got to get us talking.
Yeah, that's what's up.